Okay, I have to tell you this really funny story. So yesterday we were in the German Cultural Center eating, minding our own business. I tried my best to not sit near any children because what happened, I actually predicted would happen. There were a group of women sitting together, and there were like 4 or 5 children with them. And I said, oh God, I don't want to sit anywhere over there because those people are going to be on their phones, and that means that their kids are going to be running around trying to get all the attention they can. So I literally even sat with my back to them because I didn't want to watch it unfold. But you know me, I'm a teacher, and if kids come in over and start staring at you, you can't be mean to them. So this little girl came over, and she did that little creepy walk where she's like trying to walk past you and look at you, and so she walks really slowly. So I'm from Kentucky, and I looked over and I was like, hi. And she's just like blew up because I was like, hi. Darn it, if she didn't go to get her 5 or 6 friends, and now they all came over, they surrounded me and started, you hear that, how that kid screaming? That's how these 4 or 5 kids surrounded me and started screaming. And blah, 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 blah. One of the children even put his finger in my ear, and I was just like, I know that within seconds, one of their parents, one of them is going to come over here and do something, or one of the staff members. But get this, nothing happened. So these kids, and so my husband who was with me, he said to one of the kids, you need to blow your nose. And then that's when I clicked, I was like, oh crap. I looked around, all these kids were sick. Little girls coughing and this and that and the other. And so I'm thinking to myself, what parent lets their kid roam around in a restaurant over people's food and they're sick and they do nothing about it? And so finally I was just like, bye, bye. Not moving it. I'm still sitting there, but I'm telling the children, bye, bye, bye. And everyone in the restaurant turned around and be like, oh, they're being annoyed. Because, it's not like children just run up to any table. They run up to the foreigners' table. I was a bit incensed after this because I said, you know what? Your staff members stood there and watched this unfold. And you can see we clearly don't want to be bothered. So I asked the waiter to come over and I said, can I please, I stood up slightly away from my table. I was like, can I please speak to your boss? And he's like, okay, what's the problem? I said, can I please speak to your boss? And then he turns away from me and turns to my husband. And then he's like refusing to look at me. And he starts asking my husband what the issue is. I'm like, my husband didn't ask you to come over here. I asked you to come over here and I would like to speak to the boss. And this goes on for like a minute. I was like, no, excuse me. I would like to speak to the boss. He has nothing to do. And so this waiter is literally, I'm standing next to him and he's looking at my husband like this. And I was like, no, he didn't. So I had to do it. I was like, okay. So I walked past him. I went and asked someone else. And that person's like, well, my manager doesn't speak English. So I handle this for you? I was like, yeah, but we're going to translate this in front of the manager. So we go into the kitchen where the manager's busy. Now the whole staff is in there like, oh, what's going on? And I calmly as I could have been, calmer than I am now, explained to them what happened. These kids, like, look at this guy. This is the normal thing. So you have people who aren't paying attention to kids, and their kids scream at you to get attention. And I asked them, can you please? Now, I told them I'd already solved the problem. The kids were back by themselves. But guess how their parents handled the issue? Each of the women gave their children a phone. They either watch the video or play the game on full blast. So now we have 4 or 5 kids sitting at a table. They're so-called pacified. And now we all have to listen to the full blast of 5 kids' phones going on. Sometimes as a foreigner, you just cannot have it sometimes.